Hi everybody, my name is Kane and I recently passed the MLO test on the first try with a 90% score. And I'm going to share with you the top 5 tips that I wish I would have known when I was first preparing for the MLO exam. Before we begin, let me say that the MLO test is not easy. 41% of the people, in other words, 4 out of 10 people who take the test for the first time don't pass. So keep that in mind and take advantage of the tips that I'm about ready to share with you to give yourself the best possible chance of passing the test the first time out. All right, let's jump into it. Tip number 5, customer first. There are a lot of ethics questions on the test, so you really need to put on your customer service cap. As I'm sure you're aware, about 10 years ago, there was a lot of craziness going on in the mortgage industry. There was unscrupulous activities going on, predatory lending, and the regulator said, you know what, enough is enough. We're not going to allow this anymore. So they basically got involved and said, you know, we need to reinstitute loyalty and trust back into the system to ensure that the customer is always taken care of. With that being said, and I know this sounds simple, but it's critical and it's super easy to do. As you read through the questions on the MLO test, you need to keep a mindset of keeping the customer's best interests first. Okay, tip number 4, Quizlet and the test topics. Some of you may already know about Quizlet, but for those who don't, it's a free studying app that you can get online and then you can access from almost any device, your computer, your smartphone, or your tablet. I recommend using the Quizlet app to study for the MLO test because you can easily search on the MLO test topics and get a wealth of information on the MLO terms and multiple choice practice questions. And regarding those MLO test topics, you can get the exact official list of those topics in a document on the NMLS website. That's the official licensing website, and it's in a document called SAFE National Content Outline. It's a PDF doc, and I included a link to that document in the description below. Tip number 3, be patient with the 20-hour course. You have to be patient when you're taking the 20-hour MLO Pre-Licensing Course. This course is required by the NMLS and it covers all the MLO test topics surrounding MLO federal law, lending practices, consumer protection, ethics, and a lot more. Most course providers will include tailored self-study materials, webinars, practice quizzes, and it's all structured in a way that you could efficiently complete the course. I took a slow and steady approach when I took the course because I really tried to absorb and understand the information, but it also took me about 40 hours to complete. But in the end, it paid big time dividends because I was better able to retain the information going forward. Now you might be thinking, oh man, 20 to 40 hours, this is going to take me forever. I'm never going to complete the course. Here's the thing, just take your time, work at your own pace, and as long as you stay on it daily, within 1 to 2 weeks, you'll be all done. Tip number 2, attend the 8-hour exam prep webinar. The fog really started to lift for me when I found this resource. This 8-hour webinar from OnCourse Learning focuses only on preparing you on how to successfully take the MLO exam. I personally have a training background and I could tell you that the instructor that I had was highly experienced in the mortgage industry and explained the MLO concepts in a way that was very easy to understand. The instructor also gave us tips and tricks to really help remember the key terms that you need to know. So as the 8-hour webinar was wrapping up, I thought my brain was going to explode. There was just so much information coming at me at once, but the beauty was I was able to retain it. And then for about 2 days afterwards, I studied my notes from the webinar, and at that point I go, I am in great shape. So this is why I rated this tip at number 2, and if you want to attend the same course that I did, I included a link in the description below. Tip number 1, take the 8 MLO mock exams. So after attending the 8-hour webinar, I was fortunate enough to find my favorite resource for passing the MLO test, and it's called the Exam Prep XL Package, which is also from OnCourse Learning. This resource included 8-time mock exams with 125 questions on each one. And this was gold for me because it simulated the MLO exam experience, which is exactly what I was looking for. I spent about 4 hours on each exam, and that included 3 hours taking the exam and an additional hour studying the questions I got wrong and also the questions I was less confident on. And then after that, I knew I was finally ready to take the official MLO test. And again, thankfully I scored a 90%. And of course, if you would also like to take these 8 MLO mock exams, I included a link in the description below. So to quickly recap, here are the 5 condensed tips that put me in an excellent position to pass the MLO test within 4 weeks. Tip number 5 was customer first. Again, this tip is simple, but it's super easy to do and it's critical. As you go through the exam questions, you just need to have a mindset and a common sense approach of doing right by the customer. Tip number 4 was Quizlet and the test topics. So you can get an official list of the MLO test topics on the NMLS website in a document called SAFE National Test Content Outline. And you could search on these same topics using your free Quizlet app to get a wealth of information to study from. It's super easy. Tip number 3 was be patient with the 20-hour course. So when you take a slow and steady approach on the 20-hour course like I did and not rush it, you're going to put yourself in a much better position to retain all the information going forward. And also that's going to help you when you actually take the exam and you need to narrow down the answers to 1 or 2, and that'll increase your odds for success. Tip number 2 was to attend the 8-hour exam prep webinar. And again, this 8-hour webinar will give you powerful tips and tricks for remembering the critical items on the MLO exam. And it'll also give you the confidence knowing that you're on the home stretch to take it. And the most important, tip number 1, take the 8 MLO mock exams. It's important to spend about 1 to 2 weeks taking the 8 timed MLO mock exams, which will simulate the MLO exam experience. And then once you consistently score about 90% on a majority of the exams, then you're going to be ready to go. In the description below, I provided links for all these tips. And if you do click on one of the links, I may get a referral commission, which I truly do appreciate. But either way, I wanted to provide this information to be helpful to those who are trying to pass the MLO test. And please, I want to hear back from you. After you take the MLO test, feel free to come back to this video and leave a comment letting us know how you did and also your experience prepping for it. I wish you the best of luck and go have a productive day.